I am live. Hello, welcome to Studio Anderson Live. And the studio is my bedroom right now. I just wanted to come back. I said last Monday I'd be here next Monday, and it is now next Monday. And as I speak this, I'm going to post this link online somewhere. Hopefully, we get some more people in here. Today, I have a few topics I want to talk about, but I want to get your questions. Um, I want to get your questions and I want to have a dialogue if enough people are available. If you're watching this after the fact, then please comment below and I will answer you. Oh, hello. How you doing? See, we already got two people in here. I appreciate your viewership. So I'm doing well. How about you? I'm doing amazing. And if anybody's watching this who left comments on my page or on my Walkaway video, I just want to say thank you so much. I was really surprised by how much positive. I mean, I didn't expect nothing negative, but I was surprised by how much positive response I received, how many people sharing their stories, which is exactly what this channel is about. It's not about pushing a certain agenda or narrative or twisting the facts or none of that bullshit, and it's about giving a voice to different people, so including myself. So yeah, so just thank you guys. You're the best. I'm really hoping that I can build some sort of a community here. Everybody's welcome. Obviously, I talk about things that I care about, but it's with Voice Unfiltered. It's everybody's voice is able to be heard. And I'm getting distracted by this cute dog down here. Yes, I am. Cute little doggy. Um, so, as you'll see on the title, we have it says CBLM, which stands for Certain Black Lives Matter. I actually stole that one from a YouTuber named Jericho Green. Shout out to him. Not that he needs it from me, but he made it. I don't know if he invented that. I feel like he invented that, but people have a lot of different ones like BLMS, Black Lives Matter. Sometimes. Uh, a bunch of other acronyms to make fun of the fact that they are not consistent. And I kind of want to go into why I don't support Black Lives Matter. If you disagree with me, tell me in the comments. We'll have a conversation. But the reason I put on these three topics together: Black Lives Matter, Walkaway, and international intercultural relations, is because they're kind of related to me in my life. Like, I didn't mention this in my Walkaway story, but the whole Black Lives Matter message and like my relationships with different kinds of people, it kind of it kind of influenced my Walkaway as well, not just the things I talked about in my video, although those were the primary things. And I think I speak for most Americans when I say that a lot of us got really blindsided by this whole like Black Lives Matter message. And I'm not talking about the idea that Black Lives Matter. And I feel like they're so smart for making that the name of the organization, because if you say anything against what they're doing, against their what they're saying, or what they're not doing, really, the fact that they don't really, the weird shadow, the fact that they don't really do anything to help anybody, then it's just like, oh, well, you don't like black people. And it's just, and I don't know where we got here in our society that it's like everybody has to constantly prove that they don't hate black people. Like, it's crazy. Like, if you don't, you don't. It's like, and people do that with LGBT stuff. Like, I've had people ask me like, "Oh, I just want you to know I totally support you. I don't have no problem with you, but I have a question." And they'll ask me some like question about gayness or something, as if I speak for everybody with same-sex attraction. I don't, but but it's like they're so scared to hurt my feelings. I mean, I've had people like, "Please don't be mad when I ask you this, but are you gay?" I'm like, "Yeah, I am." That doesn't make me mad. Even if I wasn't, I don't think it would make me mad. Some people are like, "Wait, you think I'm gay? Do I look gay? Do I act gay?" But , I don't. I don't care. Um, but yeah, so, so, yeah, so, 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 yeah, so Yeah, so backstory, like I feel like I first encountered the Black Lives Matter like social justice warrior type of mentality back in the day. I was friends with someone who was like a lesbian who dated like a transgender person, and she was cool. I didn't have no problem with her. She seemed like a pretty normal, friendly person. I knew her for a good number of years, and she just like started posting all this stuff on Facebook about microaggressions and you know, the hetero cis male agenda and all these things that I had never heard of. Or and then like when she would talk about what they were, I'm like, wait, but is that really like a plot? Is that really like a big thing, or is that just like a couple of men being kind of sexist, or you know, like like she tried to teach me that assuming people were not transgender was anti-transgender, and I'm like, but most people aren't. So assuming you're not, you're gonna be white like 99% of the time, if not more, probably 99.99% of the time. You already gonna know, like you already gonna know. Oh yeah, okay. I figured this person ain't trans. Oh, what do you know? They're not. Okay, I'm white. Like it's not really a thing. But anyway, the point is, I was shocked. I was like, okay, what is this person talking about? And I just she got so hyperactive. So with her like spreading these kinds of messages that I was just like, I'm not dealing with her. And then she decided she was non-binary and she wasn't really a woman, but she still looked exactly the same. In fact, she looked more feminine after she decided she wasn't exactly a woman. I don't know. But that was my first exposure to social justice. And I was like, okay, I mean, you can think what you want. I think that you're making yourself unhappy. But it was just a lot of crazy stuff. I'm from, you know, Central Florida. So when the Pulse shooting happened, the same person, he was like saying that the Pulse shooting was like had to do with race and all this stuff, and that the response to it was a like a white normative response, and it was just like and just wrote this long thing explaining how the Pulse shooting had everything to do with anti-black sentiment. And I'm like, this is pretty sure it's mostly Hispanic people that were there. It was Latin night. And the man that killed them was a Muslim. And this was like shortly after. So like people's emotions were high. They were scared to go out to the club. A lot of gay people were scared there was going to be more terrorist attacks or something. And I was like, and I had never really said anything to her, but I commented and I was like, you know what? Like, people are tired of you saying everything's about white people. Like, you white. You're not fooling anybody by acting like you hate every other white person. You're the only pure one. And the thing that happened at Pulse, you're using the death of 50-ish people to suit your agenda, to twist the words, you know, twist the facts of their deaths into something that, you know, suits your SJW agenda. I didn't even know what SJW was at the time. I thought this bitch was just crazy. I'm just gonna be honest with you. So fast forward later, actually earlier, back forward. Okay, but okay, so before that and after that, I encountered people that had a similar mentality, but I didn't really put two and two together. And it was kind of like the Black Lives Matter. Our society is all racist. Everything's bad. Everything's built on slavery. No white person makes a penny without it being at the expense of a non-white person. And a lot of you, not you, but a lot of people are able to understand that because they're like, well, we didn't have slavery when we were founded. I mean, and there's a lot of facts that could go through. The whole world had slavery. Yes, there were white slaves. There were white slaves in Africa. Look it up. There's still black slaves in North Africa and in parts of the Middle East, as well as other races of slaves all over the place. Um, so I'm just thinking like, if I want to be mad about something, I'd be mad about something right now, not mad about something 200 years ago, you know? So, but at some point I lived, this was like one of my red pillings, honestly. I didn't consider myself a conservative, but I knew I wasn't for the radical stuff because I lived in a neighborhood that was predominantly black and I was homeless. I was in a homeless house, like a house where they put homeless people. It wasn't like a shelter, but they had us like cooped up in this house, a bunch of people in each room, bunk beds and shit. And it was next to and related to this big, like the whole neighborhood was recovering drug addicts. So in that neighborhood, you had gay people, you know, white people, black people, basically everybody. Were all men, you know. You had a couple of male to female transsexuals, and so, but you had all these people that didn't necessarily fit each other's groups, and like we learned from each other. People would ask me questions, like nobody gave me shit there. People asked me questions, you know, oh, is it true gay people like all have questions on straight guys, or is it true that gay people, like gay men, want to be women and stuff like that. And I didn't get mad at it about it. I was like, well, in my opinion, no. I mean, I don't want to be with straight guys because they're not going to be attracted to me, and if they are, they're not straight. Just putting that out there, and like, I don't want to be a woman or whatever. There was just, you know, they were curious, and a lot of them hadn't been around other kinds of people, so it was really interesting to, um, and I learned stuff from them too. I mean, these were people from all over the country, people from different types of backgrounds. Most of us were either, well, all of us, most of us were either poor or grew up poor or both. Um, but then outside of this little neighborhood area, it was like the quote unquote ghetto. They call it the ghetto, but this is Central Florida. So I mean, it was pretty ghetto. There was a lot of crime, but it wasn't it wasn't no south side of Chicago or nothing. And and everywhere we went, like it was like whitey this, cracker that. People were like stuff was thrown at us. Not everybody, the white ones, which was like me and like two other people that I lived with. And people would see us and be like, "You lost," and then I'd be like, "Oh no, I'm good, thank you." And then I'd look at him when I said that. He'd be like, and this guy was like, what you looking at? You got a problem? You don't like us? And I'm just like, no, 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 I don't dislike you. Like it was just craziest thing. And my best friend at the time, who lived with me, was a black gay guy, and he had long hair at the time, so he looked pretty feminine. And like they were always giving him shit. So we got like, and he got slurs. Like people would say stuff like around when I was with black people to them, like, why are you hanging out with the white guy? Or they'd be like, what is this white guy doing in the neighborhood? Did you bring him here? And stuff like that. It was just like, it was crazy. Like, I was just like, yo. And on the bus, people be like, I think I talked about some of this in one of my videos talking about racism, but, it's just, my point is, it's just like, it's so predominant, so prevalent that people have these kind of viewpoints. And it's just, this like anti-white racist viewpoint. And I'd be like on the bus, and 1 second they'd be like, "Oh, well, the white man this and the white man that, and they don't know how to cook, they don't know how to sing, but they think they're better than us, and um, whatever, And then but then they start saying shit about us, and then they'd be saying, "Oh, well, they hate us and they don't like us." I'd just be sitting right there next to people, literally next to people saying this, and like they'd get off the bus or whatever, or walk away to a different section, and there'd always be some like it's probably happened like 4 times where some old black lady was like, "It's okay, honey. Don't they just ignorant? Don't listen to them. I don't got no problem with you. We all people, whatever." Like that. So I'm not trying to do a black impression. That's what old people tend to sound like. Though I'm trying to do an impression of an elderly person, but yeah, and I was like, I'm good, thank you. I'm not hurt or nothing. But yeah, and it was so crazy how like harmonious and equal and just wanted to get along and not seeing any difference the older people was acting like. And then the younger people were just running around complaining about being victims and complaining about white people all day. And it was like it's crazy how we're told that older people, especially older white people, are racist and backwards and all this stuff. My grandparents ain't racist. I don't think my great grandparents were even racist. I mean, there's stories of my great grandparents sticking up for black people, and or and some of them probably didn't, it wasn't part of their world. They just weren't around black people. They didn't know nothing about them, or it was just two separate worlds, and that's the way it was for a lot of people. So this idea that everybody was a evil racist that committed hate crimes, and now that we're in 2000s, all of a sudden we're learning not being racist with anti-racist books and shit. It's not. It's not. It just doesn't make sense. Like if and I've heard this from a lot of people in my generation. I'm from the 90s. A lot of people say, like I was always raised don't see color, or I was raised, we're all the same, we're all equal. It don't matter. And I grew up with black friends. I grew up in a mixed race environment. Same thing with me. And then you grow up, and all of a sudden it's like, you against us, you hate us, you keeping us down, you doing this to us, you doing that to us. It's like, whoa, whoa, whoa. And then we get on the defense, and people are like, oh, why are you getting on the defense? That means you're guilty. It's like, no, it don't mean I'm guilty. It means that I don't know what the hell you're talking about because I ain't never done nothing to nobody. And I know some people, some SJWs gonna come on here, some BLM type people, and they're gonna probably think like, oh well, you might be a decent guy, but most of y'all are, or you might be a decent guy, but institutionalized racism and white privilege, you still got white privilege, and and then I might sit here and say, well, I didn't grow up rich. I had to put myself through college. I had to, you know, struggle every step of the way, and I got to where I am, and I still not rich, but I made a decent, comfortable life for myself. And then people say, "Okay, yeah, but if you were black, you would have had it worse, or you would have never gotten out of that situation." And to me, that is so racist. Like, why you gonna say that? Act like every non-white person is racist. I mean, is Freudian slip. Why are you gonna act like every non-white person is a victim and they just impoverished? Like, not everybody is from the hood, y'all. Not every white person is from a trailer park. Not every like it's just crazy. Like stereotypes people. It's stupid. Like, can we please go back to like the mindset of 20 years ago? And I know there was racist people and anti-white people back then too. But could we just like take this SJW nonsense and put it out the window because it's not helping anybody? So that's one of the main like my progression into realizing that Black Lives Matter, because that sentiment existed before BLM became a thing, but BLM is basically just making millions of dollars to promote this friction between the two main races of our country. And what have they done for anybody? They only speak about certain lives. They only speak about certain cases that fit their agenda and their story, just like the news. And they haven't done nothing for nobody. I mean, I could give $1 to a homeless person right now, and I've done more for the homeless community or for any community than BLM has done. So, you know, what are we doing? Why are we giving these people our money? That's what I want to know. Um, so yeah, so that kind of contributed to my walk away in some ways, because I just people get tired of being called racist or homophobic. And then if you are a lot of us that are like sexual minority or an ethnic minority, we get tired of having to be coddled or having to be everybody talking to us in this apologetic, patronizing tone. And I recognize that a lot of people do that trying to be nice, but it's like, bro, like you don't have to sit here and apologize to me for asking me a question, like a basic question about, well, do you feel this way, or is this true that I heard about gay people or whatever? Or do you guys all like interior design? I don't even know anything about interior design. Maybe I'll learn some of it if I, you know, design my own interior next time I buy my house. Well, the first time I buy my house. Uh, yeah, so that's about that, guys. And I'm gonna turn this into a half-ass mukbang because I got this Italian food right here, y'all. This shit is dank. Stuff is so good. And Jesus, the guy whose name is like Jesus will save you or something. Don't tell me to clean my room again, okay? Just because I'm not looking at my phone doing none of that. I'm not kind of hanging out on the chat. I'm talking. But I am going to take a bite of this pasta here because if I can get like a bite without it being like 15 noodles. Hold on. Look at my soda. What's up, my two viewers? How y'all doing? Okay. Yeah, and I had somebody I know ask me like, so I mean, your channel is pretty interesting. Is Walkaway going to be like your main theme, or is it going to be gay stuff? Is it going to be pro-Trump stuff? I mean, I'm gonna talk about anything. Those are probably going to be my main topics right now. My other main thing in my life is languages. I study foreign languages, and I have another channel for that called Mentally Interesting, if you are interested in watching that. And so yeah, so I mean, I do that on that channel, talk about learning languages or make language materials for English and Korean, and also a language called Yakut. And and it's a language from Siberia, which I study. And but yeah, on here, yeah, right now I think talk about. But yeah, on here, yeah, right now I think talk about political and social issues. I think is probably the most important to me right now. Not because I need to like try to make people agree with me, but more about having a dialogue, and hopefully I will at least convince some people to step away from radicalism. I mean, that's definitely something. There are positive ways you can attempt to influence beliefs. It's not just about, well, I'm this, so you guys all have to be that too, or I believe in this belief system, so you guys all have to believe that too. For me, it's not about that. For me, it's just like, I'm hoping my story can help some people not be, on the streets stabbing people. That would be great. Um, yeah. Because I posted a link on Facebook about. I don't really use Facebook, that's why I don't really post it on here. I just post it with the hope that some of the people I know in real life will watch as well. Um, but yeah, so okay, yeah, so I think I talked on here last time also about um, having our stories, sharing our experiences with each other, and and I was like, yeah, it's hard to find people who are willing to share their stories. I mean, I've had people string me along. I've had people say they want to be on my channel for Voice Unfiltered, and then they'll, like, last minute, like, I'm scared to get doxxed and my whole family harassed. And it's not even for crazy radical beliefs. It's just like being, hello, John, how you doing? It's just for being a being a conservative or whatever. And I actually asked, I was on watching a live stream from Brandon Tatum. If any of you don't watch him, he don't need a shout out from me either. He's way, 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 way more popular than I am. But um, uh, I enjoy his program. So I was watching it and I left him a super chat and it was like, yeah, what do you think I should do about this? Yeah, I love that guy. He's awesome. Like I saw his interview. I'm glad you're doing good, by the way. And I saw his interview on the Women Report, I think it was, and I was like, this guy is like, he's the man. Like he's like very like positive, but like also like straightforward guy. Like he doesn't sugarcoat it, but he's also seems like a nice guy. Like I just really appreciate what he's doing. Um, but yeah, I especially enjoy these lives that some of these people do. You got ABL, you got Brandon Tatum. I enjoy their lives because it's you can really see more of them as a person and them talking to different people and stuff like that. I really like when ABL has the callers, um, and I'm definitely planning to do a kind of call-in type thing once I build a bit of a community here and more people are watching, and I also got to get the technology set up, stuff like that. But yeah, a lot of people are scared to share their views, but I just really hope that I can do my best. But oh yeah, but I left Brandon Tatum a super chat, and he read it. He's like, and I was asking him, what can you do about that? Like, you got some people that won't talk to you because you're not the same ideology as them. You got some people who are scared to talk to you because whatever political problems are going on, they don't want to look bad or be it to affect their personal life. And he was like, look, you can do it anonymously. They could not put their name. They could have like no video on, or you can read their story from a um you can read their story from a script. I'm not a script, like a letter. He said, I think that's a good idea. I'm going to look into that. What state do you live in, and how do the people in your area view Trump? So I'm from Florida, which is really mixed politically. So people usually, when I was a liberal, people used to blame it on, we got all these old conservatives, old people are conservatives. That's some of it, but I feel like we tend to become more conservative as we grow older. I'm almost 30, but I hate saying that I'm almost 30. Nothing wrong with being almost 30 or above 30, but I'm not used to it yet. I'm 28. Um, but yeah, I think that a lot of us as we grow into our adulthood and we're no longer like young kids and we really experience life, we become more conservative. So that might be true that in Florida, the old people are more conservative. But right now, I'm in a different part of the South, and I used to live in Virginia, so I've been here and there. Um, Virginia was weird. It was like I feel like it's like really liberal on the outside, but it's like I feel like you got a silent majority. I feel like I could probably wear a Trump hat and only be attacked like once or twice. And then where I'm at now is pretty southern, but there's also like colleges and stuff. Like if you go near the colleges, oh, that was weird. My screen just like flashed. If you go near the colleges, then like you have like Black Lives Matter signs anymore everywhere, which surprised me because I've been to other parts of the South and I feel like it's really conservative. But I guess some areas, especially with these liberal universities, like you have a little bit of the BLM brainwashing. And if you're still there, John, what about you? You don't got to say where you live if you don't want to, but what is it like in your area as far as Trump and politics? Are you from Florida too, bro? Yes. You like Florida State guy or a UCF guy? I can understand. You don't even got to explain. Oh, you don't know. Okay. Well, I mean, I'm close to I'm from Central Florida, so I'm of a UCF area. But I did want to go to Florida State. But oh, Tallahassee. Okay, that's like that's the Seminoles, right? I used to love the Seminoles. And then yeah, they're the best. I like them. I mean, UCF cool too, but I think the Seminoles better at playing football in my humble opinion. UCF area, yeah, but I mean, like yeah, Orlando, yeah, but Orlando, if anybody knows, it's not just Orlando. You got a lot of subdivisions, a lot of cities around it. You got areas that are Orlando that you think are not Orlando. You got like what Kissimmee, Disney World. So saying you from Orlando, I never lived close to UCF though. I have been to the campus a number of times. I was going to go there. Yeah, Oviedo, exactly. So yeah, yeah, Florida's cool. I don't got no problem with Florida, but I'm just glad to be out because it's like you know how Florida's lawn. It's like a trap. It's like a vortex. Like once you're down there, like you're gonna have to drive for a good 8 hours to get out the state. Like I drove to Virginia twice and back from Florida, or to Virginia, then back to Virginia, and it was like 8 hours, like maybe 7 hours, just to get out of Florida. And then like that was like half my trip. Like half my trip was just escaping Florida, and then the other half was crossing like 5 states and maybe DC. So I'm like, it's crazy. So it's like it's hard. It's easy to get stuck there. But no, that's crazy. I got so many Florida people on here. But yeah, California. Yeah, it was like when I lived in Northeast Virginia, and it was right next to DC, and everybody said it was a liberal cesspool in DC, and there was some nice people there, but they ain't lying about that one. I can only imagine what California is like. I'm not talking about all the people. I mean, there's some good people everywhere, but as far as policies and about as far as how many radicals are going to be over there, uh, that's what I'm concerned about. You know. Oh, excuse me. Yeah. So yeah, I like where I'm at. I don't know if I'm gonna settle here. I move a lot. Like I kind of move wherever I want to go, see a new place, try to make some different kind of money. But a lot of what I do is my teaching work, my language work online, making language materials, teaching English and stuff like that. We have a huge revival yesterday at Sacramento to open up our churches. It gave me hope for our future. That's good to hear. Yo, you're the second person at all since Corona started that said to anything to me about their church doing stuff. So that's good. Like even if you're not a Christian, I feel like if you can go to the grocery store, you can go to the DMV or whatever. There's so many places you can go. Why you can't go to church? Why you can't go to the voting booth? It don't make no sense. So I'm like, yeah, you gotta be able to go to church. Hey, if I'm trapped inside all day and I wasn't even like, I'll be honest with you guys, I'm kind of on the fence with my religious beliefs, um, let's say I was just completely not a Christian, I'd probably show up to a church just to go somewhere because just to see some people and have a positive experience uh, because they all closed and like they don't let us do nothing. But yeah, I have a friend in Orlando area who told me she said she went to church for the first time in months. Where church finally was allowed to open for certain services with a certain capacity or something like that. And I don't know if it's all the churches. 对，我会说中文。Uh, yeah, I can speak Chinese. 你是中国人吗？ But yeah, so so yeah, I don't really teach Chinese. I was talking about my teaching a few times. I'll teach some people. Like I know how. I have some materials. I've learned it long enough to be able to teach the basics. 你不是中国人，那你是哪里人呢？ Yeah, like I teach a few people Chinese, but mostly I teach English and Korean. I don't know why Korean is just real popular with all the K-pop and stuff like that, and all the dramas and stuff like that. But yeah, I'm glad to see you guys on here. It makes me glad, makes me happy. Um, it's so crazy when you hear about some of these. It's like I've been finna make a YouTube channel for so many years, guys. I think this is the best time for me to do it because just the point I am in my life with experience and understanding of certain things. I'm not saying I know everything or nothing like that, but um, there's certain topics on which I feel qualified to give my experience and talk about. So yeah, I'm glad I did it now, and I just hope to be able to. Uh, but well, I was gonna say actually, I think a lot of people they put off something like this because they're like, oh well, it's hard to get famous or it's hard to get a lot of viewers. Honestly, if I got a few people each time, like on the live, or I got a good couple hundred, few hundred views, if I got just people that care about watching my stuff, I'll keep making stuff. It's not always about being huge, and even the people that are huge, sometimes they do it for 2, 3, 4, 5 years, and then one day they gain traction, they build up more, or they blow up one day, and they get real well known. So, like, that's my message to y'all. If you try to do like YouTube or any kind of thing, um, just do it. Just go out there and get it done, because waiting isn't going to prepare you per se. What has been the hardest thing for you walking away? Um, it's so crazy. When I was younger, I thought that. Thank you so much for asking a thoughtful question. I really appreciate it. Um, Back in the day, I used to think like my family was real conservative, and they probably were to some degree. And being that I was in the gay community and like just around all this liberal stuff, I didn't really listen to what they had to say or what they believed, and I just kind of like I just didn't really care. I assumed what they thought. And I even had good friends. I have a good friend to this day I've known for years who I assumed what she believed and thought, and now that I've actually talked to her and listened to what she has to say, because she's conservative and a Christian, I'm like, oh my God, like her thoughts and her viewpoints and her understanding of things is just so deep. And she's given me insight. And I just spent all those years I could have been hearing things from her over the years. I'm sorry, let me get to the point. um, I guess the hardest thing is that, like, now I think a lot of my family is really liberal, so I think they don't really understand where I'm coming from. They're good people, but I think they probably think I'm just getting indoctrinated by Fox News or something, which just can't be further from the truth. But the other thing is that I've known people for years. There was like a good several people I knew for over 10 years that decided I was a racist and a fascist and all this crazy stuff, not based on what I said, not based on what I did, just based on the fact that I associated with. And this was before I like officially walked away. Like this was like me just trying to understand different viewpoints, and they'd be like, "Oh, well, if you even listen to what they have to say, you're a racist, you're a fascist, and screw you, bye." And I mean, I've been blocked. I lost probably at least half my friends list, and then there was other people I chose to separate myself from because they were posting things advocating violence. And the only reason most of this occurred online is probably because I moved multiple times to other states. So a lot of the people that have been in my life for a long time, I had to keep up with on the internet. And yeah, so it's hard to see people advocating. As far as race relations goes, that's the hardest thing for me. I think I might have cut out. Can somebody confirm for me that you can hear me now? Or if I did cut out, the video gave me an error message. Oh, I did cut out. Okay, I'm not sure what you heard. You're welcome. I appreciate the question. Yeah, but you're back. Yes, glad to be back. Yeah, basically just having people view me as the enemy because of my race is one of the hardest things. If I had stuck to touting liberal and SJW slogans and stuff like that, which I didn't really do that well at the time, even if I had stuck to liberal, like advertising myself as a liberal, then a lot of them probably would have been like, "Oh, you're good," but most white people suck. "Oh, you're good," but being a white man, it's like, what do you want from me, guys? I'm just a person. Like, I don't affect the world to that degree. I'm just a guy that makes money and hangs out with his spouse and goes to eat food and comes home and sleeps. Like, there's nothing really threatening about me. And it's the fact that people want to see other people as threatening because they're brainwashed by the media. Like, that's probably the hardest thing for me. And it's honestly, I just don't know. What do you guys think? What have you guys had a similar experience? Have you guys had difficulty maintaining friendships with people or family relationships with people? Um, but either way, I mean, if anybody's watching this after the fact too, I mean, feel free to comment. When I see I have a comment here, I'm an artist and a conservative. I'm at a hard time. Sorry, I should say that clearly in case some of you are not seeing the chat. I'm an artist and a conservative, and I have a hard time with artists because artists tend to be very liberal, hate Trump, and pro-communism. Yeah, I can, I can imagine. Um, it's it's hard, and I mean, I would almost understand to some degree the vitriol if most Trump supporters were angry and demanding that people agree. But literally, I used to think that's the way it might be because of the way people were reacting. But every Trump supporter I've met, before and after walking away, um, they're not mad. They don't demand people to agree with them. They're not trying to force their opinions. They literally just want to be left alone, hear what I have to say in case you can benefit from it, but we all can think what we want. Like it's very interesting. And I used to think that I feel torn sometimes between the two. Do you mean like between like your conservative values and your artist community? But yeah, I used to. What was I saying? Oh yeah, that's what you said. Yeah, I can definitely understand. I think. Well, I worked at Starbucks myself for a good number of years. Regardless of what other better money making ventures I had, I just love coffee, and it was just kind of an always good way to work a couple days a week or work mornings and do the rest of the evening or something like that, and meet people. And I had some good experiences, but it was extremely liberal. They made us do that like racist trading or anti-racist trading. Um, And it's like I almost have to be silent about my political views, religious on that. Like I would say, if it was me, no, don't take it. Don't run with it. But maybe I don't know if you agree with me. If it was me and I was in that situation again, I would, which I did at the time too, and I got a lot of backlash, but it didn't affect my job, thank God. And I had other jobs. But if I was in that situation, I would make my viewpoints clear, but I would also, um, honest. I want to say make your viewpoints clear. Be honest about who you are, and just if they have any misconceptions, try to dispel those misconceptions. If that is your only income, and or you are not necessarily financially stable, and I know you didn't completely ask for my opinion, but I always want to tell this to basically everybody because a lot of people have this problem that you and me in the past went through. Um, I would suggest trying to have multiple avenues of income if possible, so that if something happens like that because of political problems, then you will not be, you know, up the creek without a, what do they call that? Up the creek without a paddle. There we go. Oh yeah. You're very welcome. And again, like I don't want to tell nobody what to do, but I see a lot of these people on YouTube, these conservative people. They either say, "I don't want to tell you nothing because I don't want to you to do it. It turns out badly," or they say, "Look, you need to speak out, even if it risks your job." And like I realized I did not make my bed. Like that is, just don't look at that. Yeah, and I'm not going to tell you to speak out and then ruin your. I'm going to tell you to speak out and then ruin your income, but I am going to, with anybody, I would give them the advice of trying to stabilize their financial situation and do what they can to not have to worry about political problems as much. For me, I'm kind of glad I moved to a pretty conservative place because even though I'm working for myself now, I don't really have to deal with all of that race baiting and SJW nonsense as much as some people in certain places have to deal with, or as much as myself in the past have to deal with. Let's take a sip of my soda. Yeah, so if anybody, it's crazy because I think last time I did the live, I did like 10 people in and out, and then afterwards, I think it's like up to like 60. And I'm surprised because a lot of times people don't like to watch live when they're not live. But if anybody's watching this after the fact, I just want to recap my advice. If you're going through what we could call political persecution, or being excluded, or being threatened for your job because of political reasons, just try to voice your views in as much of a non. It's hard to say. Like they call it the silent majority because we're all scared to say shit because we don't want to be fired, and I don't want to say it silently. But I mean, at the same time, like there is sometimes a way to put the truth out there without it being as easily to cause a problem. Like I had a coworker who was in the army, and like we had someone else who was complaining about how our country's so horrible and blah blah. So she's like, "Yeah, like don't you guys understand like where I'm coming from?" And I don't think either of us agreed. Like we're like, "Yeah, we size for what you may have gone through, but I was busy doing my manager job, so I wasn't answering." But my coworker, he was like, "Look, I'm not saying it don't suck, but we live in one of the most freest countries on the planet, and it sounds like propaganda to say that, but it's true. It's not that every other country sucks, but to try to believe that our country is horrible and evil and all this stuff, it's just, I think for most people in this country, it doesn't even make sense. Even the people that are saying it, they're just saying it because they're repeating what they heard." And he said, "Look, I think some bad shit happens, but excuse me, I can't drink soda." I'd be like, ugh. Anyway, he's like, for most of us, it's not, for most of us, and not just most races, like most of every race, every orientation, whatever, most of us live a pretty normal, pretty boring life, and any problems that do happen can be solved on a case by case basis. And like he said it in a respectful way, he acknowledged her perceived pain, and we were all good. Nobody argued. Now, if he had said that in a work meeting and the manager was an SJW or something, maybe there would have been more problems. So there are ways to get the truth out there without causing a problem for yourself. But at the same time, please, please, please save, live frugally if you have to. Try to develop multiple forms of income. It's something that I've done my best to become an expert at myself because of having financial instability. And as I improve in my life situation, I do want to bring some of those financial tips to people who may be going through financial problems, whether it's based on political reasons or not. But yeah, that's what I have to say about that. And I didn't say as much about Black Lives Matter as I wanted to. I wanted to debunk a lot of their myths. But honestly, I think if anybody is here, they're probably on the way to understanding the myths that a lot of us are believing, that they're not true. And I will definitely try to put more information out there for people who want to know more. Um, but yeah, I'll probably wrap this up shortly. I usually do about an hour. Um, I might stretch it a little longer, an hour and a half, 2 hours as time goes on. You're very welcome. I just hope I can bring a positive impact to other people. It's not like, in some ways, my story is not very original, but I'm hoping that, because everybody's always saying we got to tell our story, we got to be honest. I just want to do that, and hopefully someone will benefit. Um, yeah, and let me know, guys. Is Monday evening a good time? I don't think it's really a good time, but prime time, like Saturday evening or whatever, is also not necessarily. Yes, thank you, John. Have a good night. I'm gonna get off of here myself. But yeah, everybody, let me know down below what is the best day that you want to watch Studio Anderson live. Because I was thinking about moving to the weekend, but I'm just doing Mondays at least for now, just to get it going. I don't know if Monday's a good time. A lot of people do Thursday, Friday, Saturday. So if a lot of people in this kind of circle on YouTube is doing those times, I don't really want to take away from them or have to compete with each other or with them. At this point, I'd be competing with them. You know what I mean? Yeah. So thank you guys who commented, and thank you those who viewed, and thank you for those who view after. Thank you, universe. Thank you, God, for giving me this YouTube opportunity and allowing me to reach an audience on here. So yeah, so I'm just gonna get off here, guys. Thank you so much. Have a great night. Where is there's the end stream button. I was like, where is the end stream button? Am I stuck? I can't get out of here. Okay, bye guys.